His mistress's voice came sweetly through the phone, complaining about how tired he had made her the night before. At that moment, the wife's world fell apart. The man on the phone was her husband, the man who hated her completely, the man who had been forced to marry her 3 years ago. Her father, the city's top judge, had pressured him into the marriage. For 3 years, she had lived a painful act. He would not even look at her, unless it was to do his duty as a husband, after which he would coldly turn away. But now, her father had lost his power. A panicked call from her mother brought the terrible news that he had been arrested for stealing $2 million. If they could not pay back the money within a month, he would go to prison. Her mother begged her to ask her husband for the money, sure he would not say no to his wife. However, she knew the truth. She lied, telling her mother it was a small problem she could handle on her own. Every night, she secretly took birth control pills, knowing their contract marriage would end in a year and a child would only make her life harder. He had found the pills once, coldly asking if she thought he wanted a child with her. Desperate, she called a friend about a part-time job that needed knowledge of business law and the ability to drink. This led her to a fancy hotel, where an old classmate found her. The classmate knew about her father's arrest and promised that a man at the party inside could fix all her problems. But as he led her into the private room, she stopped cold. Across the room, surrounded by his friends, was her husband. He watched as another man brought a beautiful woman to his side. The moment she kissed him, a rival's hand slapped her across the face. The woman who had been holding on to her husband just moments before yelled that she was a shameless homewrecker. But her husband just watched, his face a cold, blank mask. To save her father, she had walked into this place full of his enemies, and now she was being humiliated in front of everyone. It was then her husband spoke, his voice icy. He offered her a deal based on a game of pool. He challenged her, saying that if she won, the project would be hers. She knew it was a trap. The other men laughed at her, calling her a pretty face with no talent. Her husband's rival, a man named Yun Ming, took the challenge and agreed to play her. The condition was that if she lost, she would have to drink a huge tower of liquor. As she stepped to the table, memories rushed back. She remembered being a scared schoolgirl, trapped by thugs in this same pool hall. They had threatened her, and in her panic, she had fallen. Just as they moved closer, a young man had appeared. He had saved her that day, teaching her how to hold a cue stick and how to see the angles. He had told her not to be afraid, his hands guiding hers. She took her position, the memory of her younger self joining with the woman she was now. With one shot, the balls spread out, each one falling into a pocket in a perfect, unbelievable order. The room went quiet. She had cleared the table with her first turn. Her opponent was shocked, his face twisting in anger. He tried to say she had cheated, but the shot was fair, making his defeat complete. As the rival's girlfriend saw her win, she suddenly fell to the floor, pretending to twist her ankle. Her husband looked at her with complete indifference. He coldly told her that if she was hurt, she should go to the hospital, before turning away from her. But as his wife tried to leave, he grabbed her arm, his fingers touching the burn mark from the cigarette. He pulled her close, his eyes hard to read, and for the first time, he cleaned her wound. He asked in a low voice if it hurt, his question sending a shock through her whole body. As he put her in the car, his assistant called about an important business deal that was about to fail. Without a word, he drove off, leaving her alone at the hospital. The doctor's words repeated in her mind. She was pregnant, 5 weeks pregnant. She felt she could not tell him, not now. Their marriage without love and his constant coldness made her afraid this baby would only make him hate her more. She begged the doctor to keep her secret. Back at the hospital front desk, signing her own release papers, she overheard nurses talking. One whispered that her husband was too busy to even pick her up, despite her pregnancy, saying that the child would have a tough life. The words hurt deep inside. She held her stomach, giving a silent sorry to the life growing inside her. That was when she saw the other woman. It was the woman her husband truly cared for, the one he had waited for all these years. The reason he had kept his marriage a secret, getting out of a luxury car. The woman looked at her with pure disgust. She said with a sneer that they met again. It was the same woman from the party, the one who had slapped her and called her shameless. In that moment, she finally understood how deeply her husband had betrayed her. The woman was offered a $2 million check to divorce her husband, not knowing that he had never loved her at all. The woman Fu Shuizi introduced herself as coming from a powerful family. She mocked Lu Yao, saying her husband Yunshin was too busy in a meeting to worry about her. She then revealed the painful secret that she knew about Lu Yao's father's shame and her urgent need for $2 million. This check was presented as the price for Lu Yao to disappear from Yunshin's life. It turned out their whole marriage was a cold deal. Just after getting their marriage certificate, Yunshin had laid out the cruel rules. Their marriage would be kept secret, they would not get into each other's private lives, and they would divorce after 4 years. He had only married her because his family's court case needed her father's influence. Now, with her father's power gone, Fu Shezi made fun of her, saying that no one in Yunshin's social circle even knew he was married. To make things worse, As Fu Shezi kept making threats, promising to use her family's company power to block Lu Yao from getting loans or jobs, Lu Yao shook with anger. She tore the check into pieces and threw them in her rival's face before running off. Collapsing in the hospital hallway, completely destroyed, she was found by a kind man named Xiang Zong. He offered her a credit card with $2.5 million on it to solve her problems. But just as she was about to take it, her husband Yunchen suddenly appeared. He saw Xiang Zong comforting his wife, and a look of jealousy flashed on his face. He coldly refused the other man's help, calling the money an unnecessary wedding gift. He revealed to a shocked Song Zong that Lu Yao was his wife. He then put his own jacket around her shoulders, showing she was his. Later, after her mother was wheeled out of a successful surgery, he found Lu Yao in the hospital room. She pushed him away, telling him he could leave now that his meeting was over. But instead of leaving, he grabbed her and pulled her into a deep kiss. He explained that the meeting had ended and he had rushed over after seeing her missed calls, but his cold look told a different story. He demanded to know why she was angry. She shot back that it was because his phone was always busy, and she wasn't sure if he was really in a meeting or flirting with another woman. He accused her of preferring to borrow money from a stranger rather than asking him for help. He said he had been busy arranging a lighter sentence for her father. It turned out this whole mess had started because of his mother. Back in his office, his mother had stormed in, furious. It was revealed that years ago, when his father died and his uncle tried to take the family money, he was forced to marry Lu Yao, the daughter of a powerful judge, to win the court case. Now that her father was in jail, his mother held nothing back. She told him that Fu Shezi, his childhood sweetheart, had been promoted to vice president and was the perfect match for him. But what she did not know was that Lu Yao was already pregnant and determined to save her marriage. Lu Yao lovingly made a special soup for her husband, hoping to win his heart. But when she arrived at his office, she walked right into her own humiliation. Her rival, Fu Shuizi, was there with her mother-in-law, who was praising Shuizi's devotion. As his mother yelled at her, Lu Yao ran out, completely heartbroken. Later, as he was leaving the hospital, he coldly told her to take care of her mother and that he had work to do. Just then, Lu Yao got a text message from her husband's new assistant. Lu Yao was stunned, realizing her husband had already replaced her with Fu Shuizi. In the hospital room, her own mother, still weak from surgery, held her hand and her husband's, begging them to stay together. Her husband made a promise, but the look in Lu Yao's eyes showed the terrible truth she now knew. Lu Yao had just learned her father confessed to a crime he did not do, a crime linked to her husband's family court case 3 years before. Destroyed and alone in the pouring rain, she had called her husband, her voice breaking as she told him she wanted a divorce. But he had not answered. The one who came to help her was her kind friend Xiang Zong, who offered her a safe place to stay. Now, faced with her husband's anger, she stood firm. She said she had already told him on the phone that she wanted a divorce. He exploded, reminding her of their 4-year marriage contract. He sneered that it was not up yet and she could not just end it, asking what she took him for, a disposable luxury item, before pulling her into a rough kiss. But what he did not know was that she had discovered his full betrayal. Determined to get answers, she went to his company, only to be confronted by his mistress, Fu Shay, who dropped a bombshell. It turned out her husband was not just a regular employee, but the president of a huge company with over a dozen companies across the country. The mistress mocked her, showing off a diamond ring, and saying that Lu Yao probably did not even know how rich her ex-husband was. The news hit her like a punch in the stomach. It all started with a ring. Just days before, they were in a jewelry store when a clerk praised a pair of wedding rings. Lu Yao excitedly asked her husband to try on the matching one, but he coldly said no. He claimed he did not like wearing rings, and told the clerk to just buy one for her. Lu Yao then took out the ring her husband had bought her and handed it to the woman, telling her to give it back to him as she had no use for it. That was the final straw. She immediately sent a divorce agreement to her husband. He called annoyed, telling her to wait until he got home, but she was done waiting. She told him she wanted nothing but a divorce and would take him to court if he refused. This led to the confrontation at his family home. When Yunchen arrived, his mother was waiting for him with the divorce papers. He insisted he did not want a divorce, but his mother fiercely defended Lu Yao, reminding him how badly he had treated her throughout their marriage. He tried to claim he was just busy with work. His wife then appeared, telling him she had found a man who would truly commit to her, even without a prenuptial agreement. Seeing the other man standing there, Yunchen's pride was broken. He told her she was really something, grabbed the papers, and signed them right there before storming out of the house. His mother rushed to comfort the heartbroken Lu Yao. Later that night, the other woman found Yunchen and gave him back the ring he had thrown away in anger. He just looked at it, told her it was not important, and told her to throw it out before leaving her behind. 1 month later, Lu Yao had started over at a new job. Her boss ran in very happy, announcing they had gotten a huge project with a powerful function group. Just as he said their representatives were arriving, the doors swung open. Leading the team was none other than her ex-husband, Xiao Yunchen. His ex-wife suddenly rushed to the bathroom, holding her stomach in pain. He followed her, grabbing her arm and demanding an explanation. She simply said she had eaten too much, but what he did not know was that she had just come from the hospital, where a doctor had given her shocking news. She was pregnant with twins.